Well, good morning everyone. This is George Bayruthi giving you the market report for Monday morning, and obviously that is for Monday the 1st of September. First of all, who we are. We're a stockbroking firm located on the Gold Coast in Queensland, Australia. I will give you a bit more information about the company later in this presentation. Let me start with the disclaimer. Everything I say here is for general advice and general information only. And before you take any action, please consult with your professional advisor or talk to us directly. And a copy of this disclaimer is available to you should you wish to receive it. All you have to do is call the office. Today we start with the editorial. Today we talk about how the market is unpredictable, and the title of this editorial is that you can't win them all. We show you some of our results last week, the number of trades that we took, and what went our way and what didn't. So if you want to read this whole thing, it's all on the website. And by the way, previous to this series, we also did finish a series on options, how to trade options and everything you need to know about options. And before that we did several part series on futures market. So if you want to know also about how to trade futures, it's all there on the website. So all you have to do is go to the website at fssecurities.com, and if you're not a member already, all you have to do is subscribe on a 15-day free trial. Alright, what happened on the weekend when we gave the report? We started with the US, the Wall Street, where US stocks were already ahead of the long weekend for the Labor Day holiday. The Dow Jones finished on Saturday morning by rising 0.1% to 17,098, and the S&P 500 closed slightly above the 2,000 level by just 3 points, and that's of course the first closing price above 2,000 in the history of the S&P 500. In Europe, the Stoxx 50 index that comprises several European major markets rose 0.3% and finished at 3,172. And in London, the FTSE 100 index was up 0.2% at 6,819. In Japan, the Nikkei index fell 0.2%, and in China, the Shanghai index rose by a high number of 1.2% to 2,338. On the commodities, gold on Saturday morning was trading at $1,287 US per ounce, and that is down $2 overnight. Silver closed on Saturday at $19.50. That was steady. And over the full week, gold was up $6 or 0.5%, and silver was unchanged. Crude oil on Saturday was at 95.80 US a barrel. That's up 1.3%. As a matter of interest, over the full week, oil was up by nearly 3%. Copper, the world's economic barometer, was at 316 cents per pound on Saturday morning. And iron ore, which is important for our miners, such as BHP, Rio, Atlas, Iron, and Fortescue, at the end of the weekend was down 1% at $87.30. That's US per ton, and this is close to the lowest level since 2012. Iron ore, by the way, lost more than 35% this year on ongoing concerns over China's economic outlook. On the currencies, the Aussie dollar was at 93.4 and will give you 71.1 euro cents, and also 56.3 British pence. And these, of course, are intrabank rates. On our market on Friday, the benchmark ASX 200 index finished at 5,626, and for the week the index was up 1.4%. However, for the full month, the index finished exactly at the same level where it closed a month earlier. The best performers amongst the leaders for the full week, we had QBE and Santos. Both were up 5.2%. And the worst performers, BHP down 3.2%, followed by Suncorp down 2.6%. Now, as far as the announcements are concerned, this is something we present you every day, and we're looking at what we have today in Australia. We have the inflation gauge month on month at 10:30 this morning. We also have company operating profits quarter on quarter at 11:30. In China, we have the manufacturing PMI at 11 o'clock. That can also have an effect on our market. In Japan, we have the manufacturing PMI as well. Several PMI in Europe tonight. And remember that in the US there are no announcements as they've got the Labor Day holiday. Now our analysts here at FS Securities present you with FS Security picks and trades. This is a summary of all the stuff that we present you. If you want more details, anything that you might be interested in, all you have to do is go to the website or call us directly. We like to show you the volume trend over the full 3 weeks, the previous 3 weeks. As you can see, the market was actually rising over the last 5 days. On Friday, the volume was 2.5 billion, and the same volume on Thursday, except the difference between on Thursday and Friday. Friday there were more declines than advances, and on Thursday it was the other way around. We like to also give you some details about which company has gone up and which company hasn't. Osdrill, for instance, went up by 16%. Corporate Travel Management Limited by 8%. Mesoplast, this has been on the rise for several days last week, was up 5.6% on Friday, and so on. And again, this information is available to you should you wish to discuss any of those companies that you see on the screen. Telstra had 35 million shares traded. Fortescue had 33 million with a decline. We also give you a snapshot about the companies, the top 10 companies that went up and the 10 companies that went down. Transfield Services went up by 24% on Friday. It's worthwhile looking at Transfield Services and find out exactly why it went up by 24%. Harvey Norman was up by nearly 8%. Perpetual Limited, nearly 8%. Qantas continues to go up by 6%. Paladin Energy is a uranium company, was up by nearly 5%. And then you've got the ones that have not really rose, actually fell. You've got Worley Parsons, 3.7%. Seven West Media down 3%. Fairfax 2.8% down. Woolworth 2% down. But remember, Woolworth had an ex-date last week. Alright, we also like to show you the sectors, which sector has performed better than the others. And we finish off by giving you a snapshot about what happened over the last 2 weeks. The Dow Jones over the last 2 weeks was up by 2.6%. And as you heard, the S&P 500 reached an all-time high by going up by 2.5% over the last 2 weeks. And the VIX is down to a very low level, one of the lowest level, around below 12 points. The US dollar was strong over the last 2 weeks, and so is the Australian dollar. As a matter of interest, that's good, because when the Australian dollar goes up, the American dollar goes the other way. But for this particular 2 weeks, both the Australian dollar and the US dollar both went up. Gold over the last 2 weeks was down by 1.3%, even though it recovered from the $17 loss over 2 weeks. Recovered a small number of dollars last week. But overall, over 2 weeks, it was down 1.3% or $17. Silver also was down 0.8% or 15 cents. Crude oil was up 2.7% last week, but over the last 2 weeks, it was actually down 1.5%. And you've got the various soft commodities. We like to also focus on the ratio of the put to call options. You can see here it's one of the lowest at 0.8. 0.8 means for every one call option there is 0.8 of a put option. That is actually gives you the sentiment of traders. Okay, in terms of what happens on our market, we've had a mixed bag last week. However, I like to look at the last 2 weeks. You can see here that gold was down 1.6% over the last 2 weeks. The metal and mining down nearly 5%. On the positive side, we've got the healthcare, thanks to CSL, was up 4.3%. The energy was also very positive in the last 2 weeks, by up by 3.4%. On the stocks, again, last week we had a mixed bag. Some were up and some were down. Over the last 2 weeks, looking down this last column on the right hand side, the best performer was QBE, 7.6%, followed by AMP was up nearly 10% last 2 weeks. On the negative side, we have BHP down 6% over the last 2 weeks, RIA down 4%, and you can understand why, because of the iron ore price, which is a very important commodity for both BHP and RIA. Okay, finally I'll talk to you about the ex-dividends. You can see here the list. We list all the ex-dividend by date, and the next slide will show you by percentage. What is coming up this week? Today, the first, looking down the list, 1st of the 9th, BC Iron, TATS Group, Toll Holdings, and Fortescue Metals. Tomorrow we have Boral, Cochlear, Amcor, Panost, and so on. So this information is very important as well. If you own any of those shares, you know what you're getting and how much of the franking is available to you. Now we also like to show you in percentage who is paying what yield. BC Iron, an iron ore producer, the yield on the dividend is 11%. A company called Contango Microcap gives you a yield of 7.3%. Seven West 6.4%, and so on. Okay, to finish off, who I am. My name is George Beiruthi. I am the director here at FS Securities. I have many years of trading and investment experience and several qualifications, as you can see from that screen, to support what I offer my clients. My ambition today is to help our clients and prospective clients to become effective investors and traders. Here we are. We're a stockbroking firm, as I mentioned, on the Gold Coast in Queensland, Australia, and we trade equities, options, commodities, CFDs, futures, and foreign exchange. And we offer our clients very attractive investment at 7% over 1 year, interest paid monthly, or 9% over 3 years, interest paid monthly as well. Also, we are financial planners and cater for all your financial needs. And now, how to reach us? Well, you can call us on our landline 61 for Australia, 7 for Queensland, 5630-4141. That's our landline number. Alternatively, you can call my mobile, available to be reached 7 days a week when I'm available and I'm not playing tennis or bridge or at the movies. So you can write to me, you can call me on 0411259526. My email address is george@fssecurities.com.au, and of course the website is www.fssecurities.com.au. And if you're not a subscriber already to our website, why don't you register now for the 15-day free trial? Okay, well, have a happy and fruitful trading day, and I'll talk to you at 1:15, and of course this will be recorded and placed on the website.